The new Pokemon TCG season is finally here. Well, they haven't announced any dates for any events yet. I mean, come on. Dates for regionals and ICs for TPCI have been announced till next year. And over here, we still don't have a single event announced. But this video is not about complaining. It's about providing a guide to official Pokemon TCG tournaments held in countries under the Pokemon Company or TPC. And here's a list of the countries. I will also explain how you can take part in these events and how different it is from countries under the Pokemon Company International or TPCI. First of all, you need a trainer web account in order to take part in official Pokemon TCG events held under TPC. Head to this website, which will be in the description, and click on the country you are based in. Then click on the human figure at the top right hand corner and create an account. So once that is done, you are ready to register for events.
Nice.
Next, let's talk about championship points. There is a huge difference between the qualification system between TPC countries and TPCI countries. Under TPC, which is Japan, Taiwan, and most of Southeast Asia, each country gets allocated a fixed amount of players that can qualify for Worlds. For Singapore, we can only send 4 plus the winner of the national championship. The 4 slots go to the players who have accumulated the most points throughout the season. And if the championship winner is part of the top 4, the slot does not go to the 5th person. Yes, you heard that right. There will only be an additional slot if the national championship winner is not part of the top 4 in number of points or top X depending on the number of slots your country is given. And I want to point out that this qualification system is very different from TPCI countries. They follow a threshold system whereby if you hit a certain number of points, you qualify for Worlds. It's a lot simpler, and if you manage to hit the number of points early, you can book your flight earlier as well. Now let's talk about the difference between town leagues, regional leagues, and the national championships where you get to earn points. Town leagues are usually smaller in scale and thus give out less points. Over here in Singapore, it doesn't really matter where the town leagues are held because it just takes maximum 1 hour to travel from one end of the country to the other. So most of us would want to take part in as many town leagues as we can. But in bigger countries, some people might think twice about traveling, especially if the town league is held like a few hours away. Which is fine, right? Town leagues are meant for people to try out, have fun, and if there's a town league near you, just go take part. Here are the points allocation for your finish in town leagues. And over at the rightmost column, you can see the minimum number of participants required in order to give out the respective championship points. Because, for example, if we take a look at 5 to 830 points for the top 8, you can't possibly give out points if there are only 8 participants, right? So there will only be points for the top 8 if there are at least 17 participants. Otherwise, if there's only 8 participants, you will look at the row under 2. So only the top 2 will get points if there are only 8 participants. Next, let's talk about regionals. It says here 3 to 5 times a year, but we only had 2 last season. Just saying. I also want to point out that TPC regionals is different from TPCI regionals. TPC regionals are free for all and anyone from any country can register and play. But TPC regionals are country locked. So if you're residing in Malaysia, you can only take part in Malaysia regionals. If you're residing in Singapore, you can only take part in Singapore regionals, so on and so forth. Regionals are usually bigger in scale compared to town leagues, so more points are given out. Winning a town league gives you 250 points, and that is equivalent to a top 16/32 in a regionals. We then move on to the national championships, which are held once a year in every country. The winner gets to qualify for the Pokemon World Championships regardless of how many points he or she accumulated throughout the season. The points are of course more compared to a regionals event, and it's usually the highlight of the season, so it will usually be the last event of the season. After which we will know who the top 4 in number of points are and who we will be sending to the World Championships. Now I want to point out that every system has its flaws and you cannot please everyone. As much as I don't get why there are 2 different qualification systems for the same World Championships, I understand that there are pros and cons for both sides. The important thing is to work with what you have, right? If getting into the top 4 is what it takes to qualify for Worlds, then that is what I'm going to aim for. And with this guide, I hope that you have a clearer idea on how to take part in official Pokemon TCG tournaments, and I hope to see you in one this season.